This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Chantima Veerakorn. Headlines. The Prime Minister informs Russia the issue over the aircraft is not between the two countries. India pledges support to resolve agricultural issues. The first school term 2022 commences from tomorrow. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan donates a street library to Sri Lanka. The Navy contingent leaves the island for RIMPAC 2022. World Environment Day is observed today, encouraging worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment. In international news, the UN warns Ukraine war is aggravating existing global food crisis. In sports news, it's cricket. Joe Root carry fight as England wrest back advantage. Local stories in detail. In a bid to resolve an impending diplomatic issue, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe informed Russia through the Foreign Ministry Secretary that the issue over the Aeroflot aircraft is not between the two countries, but is a private legal issue. As a result, the Justice Minister has been informed to expedite the legal process. Russian state-owned carrier Aeroflot yesterday suspended commercial flights to Sri Lanka and stopped issuing tickets to Colombo. Aeroflot is expected to challenge the legal order issued to detain an aircraft from its fleet in Sri Lanka in court tomorrow. The Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, says India will help Sri Lanka resolve problems within the agriculture sector. Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera met the Indian High Commissioner and sought India's help for food security and environmental protection. Talks focused on the 65,000 metric tons of urea promised by India last month to avoid any disruption to the current Yala season. Gopal Bagle commented that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has approved the urea consignment donation, which will travel directly to Sri Lanka from its origin in Oman. The Indian High Commissioner assured that Sri Lanka would receive the consignment as soon as possible. The first street library in Colombo was opened on May 20th, 2022, as a gift from the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Pakistan High Commissioner, His Excellency Retired Major General Umar Farooq Burki, and Chairman of the Urban Development Authority, Retired Major General Uday Nanayakkara, participated in the opening ceremony. 2.3 million rupees has been spent for this library located in the parking lot near the Racecourse Mini Pavilion, Colombo 7. On behalf of the Pakistan government, the High Commissioner of Pakistan officially handed over the library to the Chairman of the Urban Development Authority, the Government of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka Navy contingent, who is expected to take part in the Rim of the Pacific Exercise 2022, hosted by the U.S. Pacific Fleet, left for Australia from the Bandaranaike International Airport last morning on a special flight arranged by Royal Australian Air Force. The SLN contingent comprises 50 naval personnel, including both officers and sailors. In Australia, the SLN contingent will partner with crew of HMAS Canberra of Royal Australian Navy for a 2-week acclimatization program. held from June to July. The 2022 edition of the exercise will feature surface ships, submarines, aircraft, and over 25,000 armed force personnel, including ground troops from a number of countries. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
Continuing with the local stories, the World Environment Day urges all of us to protect our natural surroundings. An estimated 7 million people die each year from causes related to air pollution, with the majority occurring in the Asia-Pacific region. This day, which falls on 5th June, encourages worldwide activism. That means everything from littering to climate change. World Environment Day is both a global celebration and a platform for public outrage. Veteran actress Sumana Amarasinghe has passed away today at the age of 73. She was recently hospitalized over an illness and passed away this morning. Sumana was born on the 21st of February 1948 in Kandy. She contested the beauty pageant Lassana Muhuna while she was in school and won the title. This act as a foundation of her gaining a maiden cinematic role. Amarasinghe was married to Roy D'Souza, who was also a renowned actor and director. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The Prime Minister informs Russia the issue over the Aeroflot aircraft is not between the two countries. India pledges support to resolve agricultural issues. The first school term 2022 commences from tomorrow. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan donates a street library to Sri Lanka. The Navy contingent leaves the island for RIM PAC 2022. World Environment Day is observed today, encouraging worldwide awareness and action to protect the environment. That concludes local news.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honor our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi 60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, the Ministry of Education has issued an announcement regarding the commencement of the second phase of the school term in the year 2022. Accordingly, all government schools and government-approved private schools in the island will reopen tomorrow, Monday, the 6th of June. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved the power cut schedule from June 6th to 12th. Accordingly, 2 hours and 15 minutes power shedding will be imposed from June 6th to 10th and 1 hour power shedding on June 11th and 12th. The power cut will be imposed on June 6th to 8th between 10:45 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. and from June 9th to 10th between 10:45 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. The power scheduling on June 11th and 12th will be between 6:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, the headlines. The UN warns Ukraine war is aggravating existing global food crisis. China tightens security around Tiananmen Square 33 years after crackdown. Prince Charles says, "Mommy loves and cries with all us." As the cost of food soars around the world, the United Nations warns that the war in Ukraine risks aggravating inflating prices and causing a full-on global food crisis. Luca Rousseau, the FAO's lead analyst for food crisis, said that as Russia's invasion of Ukraine sends energy prices higher, the cost of delivering aid has increased as well. He warned the risk of a severe food crisis in particularly felt in the developing world. Chinese authorities have tightened security around Tiananmen Square in Beijing as Saturday marked the 33rd anniversary of the military crackdown on pro-democracy demonstrators. On June 4, 1989, Chinese troops opened fire on students and others who gathered in and around the square to demand democracy. The incident resulted in a large number of casualties. The Chinese authorities maintained that they made the right decision in responding to the protest. In a historical resolution adopted last year, the Chinese Communist Party referred to the incident as turmoil. The Prince of Wales has paid a heartfelt tribute to his mummy, the Queen, at the Platinum Party at the palace that drew huge crowds. Charles said, "You laugh and cry with us and, most importantly, have been there for us for these 70 years. He added, serving the public was what gets his mother up in the morning, and thanked her on behalf of the world. The final day of the Jubilee celebrations today will end with a huge pageant near Buckingham Palace." Back to the world news headlines. The UN warns Ukraine war is aggravating existing global food crisis. China tightens security around Tiananmen Square 33 years after crackdown. Prince Charles says Mummy loves and cries with us all. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. A discussion was held recently at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute under the patronage of Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena, with the heads of institutions under the Ministry of Transport and Highways and experts in the field to discuss quick solutions to the current public transport problems in the country. Accordingly, key decisions were taken to improve the use of means of transport for everyday activities, as well as office, train and bus services, transport services for school children, as well as essential services within a few days. The minister also pointed out that steps should be taken to transport more passengers with less fuel consumption in the transport sector, which is suffering from the fuel crisis, and instructed the respective sectors to take the necessary action expeditiously. Accordingly, it has been decided to improve following transport activities under several sectors by the 15th of this month. That ends the development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports news, it's cricket. There is a recent history of dramatic encounters between England and New Zealand at Lord's, particularly those involving Ben Stokes. This rip-roaring test was set to become the latest installment as England, inspired by Stokes and his predecessor as captain, Joe Root, gave England huge hopes of a stunning victory on a gripping third day of the first test against New Zealand at Lord's. Chasing a challenging 277, England reached 216 for 5, needing another 61 runs. Though Captain Stokes was out for 54, former skipper Root remains on 77, having added 57 with Ben Fawkes. On the fourth day of the first test at Lord's, they will leave England's prospects of a grandstand conclusion when play resumes at 11 a.m. local time. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And on business news, Hema's Outreach Foundation recently opened its 60th Piyavara preschool in Vadinagala, Ampara, and continues to support the national agenda in developing early childhood care and development in Sri Lanka. Initiated in 2002, the Piyavara was launched in partnership with the Children's Secretariat of the State Ministry of Women and Child Development, Preschools and Primary Education, School Infrastructure and Education Services. Piyavara aims to improve the lives of underprivileged children in Sri Lanka by emphasizing key aspects within the framework of the ECCD. Over the past few decades, the initiative has grown in stature and impact to become one of Sri Lanka's most successful public-private partnerships, with 60 preschools across the country, over 200 teachers, and a daily impact on the lives of over 4,000 children. That ends business news.
Business news, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB You Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And economic news. Interim accounts showed that profits at Sri Lanka's Dipped Products PLC, which has interest in rubber products and plantations, grew 43% in the March 2022 quarter from a year ago to 2.3 billion rupees as collapsing currency brought forex gains. The Hales Group firm, which has factories in Sri Lanka and Thailand, reported earnings of 3.95 rupees a share. In the year to March, the group reported earnings of 8.99 rupees, up 4.2% from a year ago, on total profits of 6.4 billion rupees. The interim report showed that Dipped Products Group profit before tax for the March quarter improved to 3.3 billion rupees from 2.3 billion in the same period the year previous. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Moving on to the weather report. The Department of Meteorology forecast showers or thunder showers to occur at times in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers will occur in northwestern province. Further, it said showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara district during the evening or at night. In the sea areas, showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the sea areas off the coast extending from Colombo to Mathura via Galle. The sea areas off the coast extending from Mana to Puttalam and from Galle to Pothuil via Hambantota will be fairly rough and can be rough at times. Temporarily strong gusty winds and very rough seas can be expected during thunder showers. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. The Prime Minister informs Russia the issue over the Aeroflot aircraft is not between two countries. India pledges support to resolve agricultural issues. The first school term 2022 commences from tomorrow. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan donates a street library to Sri Lanka. The Navy contingent leaves the island for RIM-PAC 2022. The World Environment Day is observed today, encouraging world awareness and action to protect the environment. In news overseas, the UN warns Ukraine war is aggravating existing global food crisis. In sports news, it's cricket. Joe Root carry fight as England wrest back advantage. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.